Hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I guess we're just a little crooked today. I don't really know. Maybe okay. We are in Joshua 13 and 14. Pray today. Pray for anyone living under Sharia law, anyone under... There's a lot of slavery still in the world today. I love how we pretend like there's not. Pray for those people. Pray for anyone being persecuted because of their faith, regardless of what their faith is. We don't get to do that. Pray for the leadership of the entire world because it needs it. Pray for secular and religious leadership, right? Because both do very different things, but also both are in need, right? You can't be messing around with either, and both need your prayers. Of course, the secular leaders need your prayers. People think, "Well, holy crap!" The religious leaders, God holds them to a higher standard of judgment. They need your prayers as much as anybody. There's a reason, right, that not all, right, but that a lot of popes over the years, over the centuries now, didn't want to be pope. Right? Some of them did. That's not really the ones you want to be pope, is it? But there's a lot of them that didn't want to be pope. That is a tremendous responsibility. To say that I'm the head of the church on earth. Christ is the head of the church. Always, everywhere. Make no mistake. Catholics don't think anything different. Christ is the head of the church. Christ is what it's all about. In fact, go to Mass sometime and see. The Eucharist is the pinnacle of the whole Mass. That's what it's all about right there, the Eucharist. Yeah. Sorry. The point is, if you want to be the leader of a religious group, you probably shouldn't be the leader. Because if you've read the Bible and you truly understand the Bible, you truly believe in God, and you truly believe what you've read, then you know that being in that position could hurl you down a lot faster than the average Joe. Because the average Joe isn't leading people into sin. Right? So most don't want to be that guy, right? But pray for those people. They need your prayers. Don't worry about stupid politics. Pray for everyone in charge, but don't worry about stupid politics. Don't worry about Canada saying they're gonna, and this tariff and that tariff. Don't worry about all that crap. Nobody wants to look at it like this, but the United States is up here. Everybody else is down here. But the United States has allowed everybody to use them and manipulate them to a point where they're getting ripped off on stuff a lot. We really were too. And here's what I'll tell you. When our current administration said we're going to do reciprocal tariffs, everybody really sweat them, got super upset, right? Except for they didn't, did they? Every single country on earth, except for 2, said, yeah, that's fair. We've been getting all this and y'all ain't. It's fair. We'll adjust our tariffs. And immediately the administration said, okay, then we won't raise our tariffs, right? You adjust yours to where we can get along, and we don't have to make ours higher. Wait, this can be fine. It was just, it was just a ploy to get them to come to the table and do what was right, right? Except for the 2 countries that are swelling up. And who are they? The unexpected Canada and the not so unexpected China. Yeah, the only 2. And there's a reason for that, guys. But don't worry about that. Seriously, don't worry about that. If you want to pray about it, but don't worry about it. It's not going to add about 1 minute to your life, right? Plus, honest to God, we depend on Canada for about 10% of our trade stuff. They depend on us for about 90% of theirs. They're going to come to the table and do what's right because they don't have a choice. He can swell up and beat his chest and say what he's going to do. but he's not. This is about their elections coming up and him wanting to do well, look tough. That's all it is. Sex slavery, my God, pray for those people in any way that are involved in that. Alright, let's get to reading. Just pray unceasingly if you can. Remember how we do that? We get rid of the words luck and lucky and we make them blessings. Yeah. We change our perspective so that we can see things from the point of view of someone who truly sees life as a blessing. Yeah. Alright, chapter 13 and 14 of Joshua. Yeah, we're kind of going to divide up a little of the land we've already got, stuff like that. When Joshua was old and advanced in years, the Lord said to him, though now you are old and advanced in years, a very large part of the land still remains to be possessed. This is the remaining land, all Geshur, and all the districts of the Philistines. From the stream adjoining Egypt to the boundary of Ekron in the north is reckoned Canaanite territory, though held by the 5 lords of the Philistines in Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. Also, where the Avim are in the south, all the land of the Canaanites from Merah of the Sidonians to Aphek and the boundaries of the Amorites, and the Gabalite territory, and all the Lebanon on the east from Baal-gad at the foot of Mount Hermon to Lebo Hamath. All the inhabitants of the mountain regions between Lebanon and Mesopoth, Mem, all Sidonians, I will drive out before the Israelites. At least include these areas in the division of the Israelite heritage, just as I have commanded you. Now, therefore, apportion among the 9 tribes and the half-tribe of Manasseh the land which is to be their heritage. Now the other half of the tribe of Manasseh, as well as the Reubenites and Gadites, had taken as their heritage what Moses, the servant of the Lord, had given them east of the Jordan, from Aroer on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, and the city of the Wadi itself, through the tableland of Medeba and Dibon, with the rest of the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon to the boundary of the Ammonites, also Gilead and the territory of the Geshurites and the Maccathites, all Mount Hermon and all Bashan as far as the Salakah, the entire kingdom in Bashan of Og, who was king of Ashtaroth and Edrei. He was a holdover from the remnant of the Rephaim. These Moses defeated and dispossessed, but the Israelites did not dispossess the Geshurites and the Maccathites, so that Geshur and Makath dwell in the midst of Israel to this day. However, Moses assigned no heritage to the tribe of Levi. The Lord, the God of Israel, and in their heritage, is their heritage, as the Lord had promised him. This is what Moses gave to the tribe of the Reubenites by their clans. Their territory reached from Aroer on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, and the city of the Wadi itself, through the tableland about Medeba, to include Heshbon and all its towns and tableland, Dibon, Bemoth Baal, Beth Balmeon, Jahaz, Kedemoth, Maphath, Kiratham, Sibmah, Zedesharar, on the knoll within the valley, Beth Peor of the slopes of Pisgah, Beth Jeshimoth, and the other cities of the tableland, and of the whole kingdom of Sihon. This Amorite king who reigned in Heshbon Moses had defeated with the princes of Midian, vassals of Sihon, who were settled in the land, Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba. Balaam, son of Beor, the diviner, the Israelites killed with the sword, together with those they struck down. The boundary of the Reubenites was the Jordan. These cities and their villages were the heritage of the Reubenites by their clans. Gad, this is what Moses gave to the tribe of the Gadites by their clans. Their territory included Jazer, all the cities of Gilead, the half of the land of the Ammonites, and as far as Aroer toward Rabbah, that is, from Heshbon to Ramoth Mizpah, and Betonim, and from Mananim to the boundary of Lodabar, and in the Jordan Valley, Beth Ram, Beth Nimrah, Succoth, Zaphon, and the other part of the kingdom of Sihon, king of Heshbon, with the bank of the Jordan to the southeastern tip of the sea of Chinnereth. These cities and their villages were heritage of the clans of the Gadites. This is what Moses gave to the half-tribe of Manasseh. The half-tribe of the Manassites, by their clans, had territory including Mahanaim, all of Bashan, the entire kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all the village of Jair, which are 60 cities in Bashan, half of Gilead, with Ashtaroth and Edrei, royal cities of Og and Bashan, fell to the descendants of Mashir, son of Manasseh, to half the Machadites by their clans. These are the heritage which Moses gave when he was in the plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan east of Jericho. But Moses gave no heritage to the tribe of Levi. The Lord, the God of Israel, is their heritage, as he had promised them. Chapter 14. I'm not saying we won't mention anything, that we can't try to talk about any of this, but there's not a lot to talk about in these chapters I can remember, because it's pretty straightforward, especially for the Bible. It's pretty straightforward. Here's the lands that we've conquered so far. Here's how we divided them up, and hey, you're not done yet. Again, you're not done yet. These are the portions which the Israelites received as heritage in the land of Canaan. Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the heads of families of the tribes of the Israelite determined their heritage by lot, as the Lord had commanded through Moses concerning the remaining 9.5 tribes. Sorry. To 2.5 tribes Moses had already given a heritage beyond the Jordan. To the Levites he had given no heritage among them. The descendants of Joseph formed 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. But the Levites were given no share of the land except cities to live in, with their pasture lands for the herds and flocks. Given no share except for cities to live in and pasture lands for the herds and flocks. As the Lord had commanded Moses, so the Israelites did. They apportioned the land. When the Judahites approached Joshua in Gilgal, the Kenizzite Caleb, son of Jephunneh, said to him, "You know the word the Lord spoke to Moses, the man of God, concerning you and concerning me in Kadesh Barnea. I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to reconnoiter the land, and I brought back to him a frank report. My fellow scouts who went up with me made the people's confidence melt away, but I was completely loyal." Remember, Joshua son of Nun and Caleb, right? That's the only 2 they got to cross over that had kind of been a part of all of it. A little bit. Yeah, that's it. Those only ones. Oh, yeah. But I was completely loyal to the Lord my God. On that occasion, Moses swore this oath: "The land where you have set foot shall become your heritage, and that of your descendants forever, because you have been completely loyal to the Lord my God." Now, as he promised, the Lord has preserved me these 45 years since the Lord spoke thus to Moses, while Israel journeyed in the wilderness, and now I am 85 years old. But I am still as strong today as I was the day Moses sent me forth, with no less vigor, whether it be for war or for any other task. Now, give me this mountain region which the Lord promised me that day, as you yourself heard. I don't know if I should beat this. So, but I am still strong today as I was the day Moses sent me out for. No less vigor, whether it be for war or for any other task. So, I will go forth and come in, right, victorious regardless of the task. If it's war, we'll go out and make war, and we'll come back home victorious of war. If it is to go hunting, I will go out and go hunting and come back victorious from that. The Lord has made me strong and vigorous even in my old age, and I'm still able to do all the things I could do before, just as well. I don't know why, I just felt like we should say that. Now give me this mountain region which the Lord promised me that day, as you yourself heard. True, the Anakim are there, with large fortified cities, but if the Lord is with me, I shall be able to dispossess them, as the Lord promised. Joshua blessed Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and gave him Hebron as his heritage. Therefore, Hebron remains the heritage of the Kenizzite Caleb, son of Jephunneh, to the present day, because he was completely loyal to the Lord, the God of Israel. Hebron was formerly called Kirath Arba, for Arba, the greatest among the Anakim, and the land had rest from war. Read that before, didn't we? We'll be in 15 and 16 tomorrow. I don't have a whole lot left, Joshua, and then we'll be in Judges. We've got look, Job is still my favorite when it comes to back here. We've got Judges and Ruth and Wisdom and Sam. There's some really good books coming up. So I know some of this feels tedious sometimes. This people got that land and this people, but it's all important. So just hang in there with me, because boy, there's some good stuff coming. I mean that, in my opinion. Pray today. Remember, when you get finished talking to God, what are you supposed to do? Shut up and listen. That's it, right? I love you. Jesus Christ loves you a lot more. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day.